Okay, our next question, we'll begin with Mr. Nicely. This is a direct quote from the question. I keep hearing the word diversity. Please explain what you think the diversity issues are in Clifton Forge, and if elected, how you plan to address them.
We do live in a community that has very different cultures, very different ways of life. The way I address it is head on with love. I have friends that are in various cultures, different ideas. They live different, but I can bring to the center core of it just to make everyone feel comfortable, happy, never judge. You know, just you change people's hearts and you don't have to worry about diversity. You just, because we all have a heart, and you line them up, make them feel wanted, make me feel wanted, make us all feel wanted, regardless of what we're involved in or what we do or who we are. We are one person and we're one community, and that's what I would do. I would hit it straight on with love and compassion.
Thank you for the question, because this has bothered me now for 3 years. People tell us that we're not a diversified community. And I ask for examples. And all I get are these. Well, somebody told me this about that. I don't know. So I go ask the person that told them. No, I never told them that, Bob. I would like to meet diversity head on, just like Ben said, but I'd like to see it first. Not just say it exists, because you can. Tell me what it is, explain it to me, and we'll deal with it. But just telling me that you're diversified, or that somebody is this or somebody is that, and when I ask why, explain it to me, you can't. And your only response is, somebody told me that's what's taking place. I have never had anybody come up to me and say, this is taking place with me. What can you do to help me? Because I will help you. It shouldn't be a secret. If this is actually taking place, I would like to meet it head on with town council and deal with it. But if it's not, the people that are saying it exists, I wish they'd stop. Because all they're doing are causing heartaches and problems. There's no solution for a problem that I don't know exists. Thank you.
I think the diversity issue starts with the older generation. They're not listening to the younger generation, and that's the problem in this community. The older people telling people how it was done in the 50s, 60s, 70s when they were growing up. And the younger generation say, well, you know, times have changed now, and they want different things, and they want to see certain things happen. And you pretty much, like it said, the older generation just kind of stuck in their own ways and want things done a certain way, and it's not like that anymore. I mean, the older generation has to step aside and let the younger generation take over and let them go with these newer ideas. Because you see the results, what's going on in the town, what's going on with the town now, if people just stuck in the past. I mean, you know, like they saying this is a retirement community or a railroad town. I mean, railroad, I think that industry is having trouble. I mean, I think we need to change that and, you know, make it fun for the younger community. Let them be able to express themselves a little bit more around town. That's it. That's pretty much it. I see the main issue with what we're having now. It's like nobody, the younger generation, they're just roaming the streets looking for something to do, looking for new ideas, want to express themselves, and they're getting a lot of pushback from their elderly. Thanks.
I think confronted with diversity, you have to ask yourself, what are we talking about? Are we talking about racial diversity? Are we talking about economic diversity? Are we talking about cultural diversity? And I think we all want those things. I think we all want those things in our community. Like I said, growing up here, I know where we've been and I know where we've come, and I think we've come a long way. And yes, if we're completely honest with ourselves, you know, what are some of the things you heard growing up in the 70s as opposed to the 80s and to the 90s? But I don't think this is a unique problem to Clifton Forge. I think this is nationwide. So I think we need, if there are issues and what they are, you know, because sometimes when you're not the one who's affected by it, you don't see the problem. You know, I grew up on Rose Avenue, we call it Rose Street. I'm one of 3 sons to a single mother. And we faced a lot of economic barriers. So if you told me that I'd ever have a chance of sitting up here and representing the town, you know, back in the 80s, I probably couldn't have told you that's a possibility. But I do think we've come a long way. Does that mean we have any more work to do? Absolutely not. But we do live in a smaller community. That's why I like living here. And thankfully, our problems are smaller. Not non-existent, but they're smaller. So I think you first address the issues, and whatever those are, you take them on. And like I said, it doesn't have to just be racial. It can be economic or cultural. Like I think somebody alluded to culturally when Ben said that. So face the problems, and I'm open enough to take them on.
Thank you.
I'm going to start by saying, if someone says there's an issue, there's likely an issue, because they're not going to come up and say, I see some issue here and it's not actually happening. So we do hear a lot about diversity issues. We hear about issues of cultural diversity, racial diversity. If people don't feel welcome at the table, they're not going to come up and tell you what's going on with them. They're not going to tell you something that they don't feel safe telling you. Humans are a tribal species. We feel safe with people who we've seen before, who look more like us sometimes, that we've just been around somebody who even looks similar to them or reminds us of someone else. So there's always going to be that little bit of self-segregation, but as long as we're offering people a seat at the table, we're going to be able to address diversity head-on. There's also other ways to address cultural diversity issues. We have a lot of cultural events in our area that are, maybe music related or food related. We don't have a whole lot of events where we bring in, outside cultures. There are Indian dance groups, there are Native American groups. There's all kinds of events that we could bring in that would show people here a little bit of a different side of the world that maybe they haven't seen before. And every time you see something new or meet somebody new, you grow a little bit and you learn a little bit more about yourself as well. I believe the railroad was one of the first places that jobs were fairly well integrated. So as long as we have good jobs where people can work together, that's always a great place to start as well, because you see each other more as equals.
We are a diverse community, not on a huge scale, but on a small scale, being the small town that we are, and I embrace diversity. We can accomplish much together as a group, so much more than we would accomplish if we were separated and divided. I think that we need to reach out and listen to everyone, regardless of race, religion, cultural background, and see what they have to bring to the table. Get them involved in our subcommittees and our other decision-making processes that we have in the town. We really want to encourage participation from everyone in our community, regardless of your background, to get involved and help us make this a better place for everyone, because together we can accomplish much. Separate, we can't accomplish anything.
Okay, thank you all for those questions. For those answers. Our next question will start with Mr. Umstead. Are you a proponent or opponent for the Rocky Forge windmill turbines? Please explain your viewpoint.
My viewpoint is I don't have enough information on it. Who's doing it? So I don't get to ask questions? Okay. I'll be for the turbines if it affects the people of Alleghany County positively. Because friends that I have out west that are involved in turbines, there's free electricity for people and money fed back into the hoppers through the electrical companies. or they set up little businesses. I'm for anything that benefits Alleghany County and helps the people save money. But I wish whoever sent that question in would give me information on it. I'd like to know about it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Like I said, I don't know anything about no wind turbines neither. I mean, I guess they're an eyesore. That's the only other thing I would see why somebody wouldn't want them, but I don't have any comments. I mean, if they bring jobs, why not? But if they are, I know a lot of people like the scenery around here. I enjoy looking at the mountains myself, so I mean, I don't want to see a lot of wind turbines in the air neither, so that's all I have to say about that.
Thank you.
We're obviously answering this question on the cuff, you know, and with anything that I don't know about, I would definitely want to look into it a little more because I'm not familiar with a certain project or all the details of the project, but I do understand what goes into turbines. One, can you do it safely? Are you not going to hurt the natural habitat of the area? Because I think wind turbines may not be just an eyesore, but maybe something that would affect birds or a bat population or something like that. I would definitely need to know the numbers and how it would affect things like that. Like I said, it'd be nice to know the details. For me, I'm pro anything that would reduce utility costs for people in our area. I think Jeremy came up to town council earlier this year with a great idea about solar energy. So I mean, I think if you can do anything to lower the price for people, that's something you really must strongly consider. But with anything that you do propose, there are going to be some negative consequences. So I think you just have to balance the positives and the negatives and see if it benefits the citizens more or it hurts us more.
I also do not have a whole lot of details on that Rocky Forge turbine project. I do remember Jeremy coming in talking about a solar panel initiative. I think solar would be a much less obtrusive way of reducing our costs. If you can put solar panels on top of buildings, you can put them in unused spaces. They're not, you know, an enormous up in the air eyesore. I don't have any more details on this specific project, but like the others have said, if it positively impacts our area, I would definitely have to look into it more and see if we could weigh the pros and the cons to decide if it's something that our area is for. And I would definitely want to speak to a lot more citizens about it and see what other people's opinions are before voting on it.
I, like everyone else up here, don't have enough information on this particular project. I will say that projects such as these do require, you know, a lot of studies and environmental impact statements and things like that before they can move forward. I would love to see some information, some research done on such a project to see what the benefits are, the pros and cons of such a project, how it would affect us financially, how it would affect our environment, and how it would affect our skylines, because we do want to protect those as well. This is a beautiful part of the country, and we do also want to maintain those. I'm open to ideas, but again, I would need more information on this particular project.
I, again, with everybody else up here, have no idea about that project, but I have seen wind turbines in western Pennsylvania when I was on a CSX transfer up there. I do love the outdoors. I love our mountains and our ridges here. I do know what those turbines look like on Sandpatch Mountain up there when you came across it on a train. It was kind of an eyesore, but I'm also for cheaper prices. But what I would do is I would get more information on this and I would talk to the public, because in the end it's going to be their decision through us if this Rock Forge thing comes. You know, we would have to get input from the people and let them know what we've found out, and basically it would be their decision.
Great. Thank you. We'll come back to Mr. Bastian. Define community development and what your role would be as a member of council.
Community development is basically getting the community together, building us stronger. My role in town council is to really give the power to the people, let them decide. Like I said, I would create heads of neighborhoods. I would separate Clifton Forge into heads of neighborhoods, and the heads of neighborhoods would go out door to door and ask what the people in that neighborhood want to see. And then I would like to see them all come together and say, okay, this is what we can do, this is what we can't do. But I would let them kind of decide. My role as council is to pretty much guide you to what you want. I mean, there's a thing from A to Z, you know. There's a gap in there. There's a gap, and my thing is to kind of help you fill the gap, let you decide what you want to do, what your part of the community or where you live at. I'll just make policies and you know, on there, and you know, try to get you the resources you need to do that. But as far as that, that's my first thing to do. Let the community, let the heads of the community decide what they want to do, and you know, as long as this doesn't affect another community, that's the kind of role I will play into it. Thanks.
Community development to me speaks first to me as a part of economic development. And my role with that economic developmental council will be to try to vote for and push and continue to work with our town manager on anything that will help develop our economic background. You know, whatever it is that will help downtown develop. You know, post-COVID, everybody's revenues are down. You know, there's not many communities that has not lost or had a drop-off in their revenues. So what do you do to increase all of our tax revenues? I think we continue to do things that will incentivize businesses locating here and operating here. There's existing grant programs. There's existing programs within the town that relieve you of certain taxes based upon how much you invest and so forth. So I think the entire town council has that duty, though, to help our area develop jobs, downtown areas where people will come in. And it's not just developing for the residents. It is for the residents that live here, but it's also, can you attract some tourism at the same time? People come into your area and spend money.
When I think of community development, my first thought is that we need to approve appearances in the community. Because when people come in, whether it's to decide whether they're going to move here or bring a business here or some sort of industry, they don't want to come somewhere that they think, oh, it's on the decline. So we're working right now on improving appearances. There's currently grants for the businesses that are wanting to improve their appearances. We need to work as council members. Our role would be to try to incentivize bringing in other businesses and industries that would help out. We need to capitalize on our natural beauty in the area and all of our outdoor activities that are available. We need to realize that we don't have to just be a small town that we're trying to build back up. We can be a great small town like other towns that have so much around them, so much outdoor activities. We can have outdoor adventure shops, we can have climbing gear, and we can have boating, gear. We can have all kinds of shops in town. We can have people who individually take people out on excursions. We can make it an incentive for people to bring in more outdoor activity businesses. That brings in more opportunities for families who are here. They have more job opportunities. They have more activities to do with their children, and it makes everyone a little bit happier and healthier. And I think it just brings a lot more fun and excitement to our area.
Community development is just that, developing our community by bringing in businesses and bringing in more residents to our community to help with a tax base that is sustainable for the future. Again, offering, more housing opportunities, remote working opportunities. I can't say this enough. My brother-in-law came to visit me a few months ago, and he works for the federal government, and he was in awe of the internet that we had, because I have better internet at my house here in Clifton Forge than he has working for the federal government and on a military base. I think we should capitalize on that. We have a beautiful, probably the most beautiful area in Virginia to live in, and I think that there are so many remote opportunities for working today that this could be a very desirable community to bring people here to work remotely, especially given that we have this wonderful internet resource. I think we also need to capitalize on the outdoor adventure opportunities that we have here. We're so close to Dalton State Park, amongst many other state and federal parks and national forests and everything else, that this is another thing that will help develop our community and make it more desirable for people to come and live in. On town council, I think it's our job to assist the Chamber of Commerce and economic development officials with bringing in revenue to the community to help sustain us financially now and in the future.
I think I'll stick with the Main Street, which I believe is the heart of our community development, where we need to begin, because we've got some of the most beautiful buildings in the state of Virginia that just need a coat of paint or something, that would attract a business. I would start there and then go out into the other communities, but that's what I would do. I would just try to make Main Street more attractive. Thank you.
It's an interesting question. On town council right now, our town manager has given people a stipend to spruce up the front of their buildings. If any of you know where Lolly's is, right across the street on the other side of the old bank, they had that power washed and painted. Looks absolutely gorgeous. I think what we have to do is take the people that have had success. Debbie and I walk through town every day talking to those people, asking what we can do, and then when I see somebody that I could use their help with, have them help me, can talk to them about the businesses here. I think we need the people that are running businesses here to help us sell the product of how supportive the community and the government, the governing body is, to help them establish their businesses. We're only going to grow and be as strong as we are with the businesses that are opened that we support. I walked down Main Street today and the place was packed again. From Deli 42, when the taverns opened, all the way up through town. It is constantly packed. And I don't see people just from Clifton Forge. I see people throughout the county. The last great thing that we did, I think, is when we brought in the new rescue squad vehicle, because now people talk to me about how comfortable they feel. After the first tone, somebody can be at their house within 4.5 minutes. So when I tell other people, well, we might not have the medical facilities you need, but we have a rescue facility that'll help you out quite a bit. I think Clifton Forge is doing well, but I think we have to look at the positive things that are going on instead of dwelling on the negative things. Thank you.
Great. So the next question, we'll start with Mr. Burdette. As a representative of the town, how important do you believe it is to attend events in the Alleghany Highlands and represent Clifton Forge?
I think it is vital to get out and represent. They see you, and you should be an extension of all the citizens of Clifton Forge. So if you're not out taking part in all the beautiful things that we have to offer in our local community, what kind of representative are you? So while I stay busy, I still, as a representative of town council now, I try to go to everything I can get to. Whether it be a ribbon cutting, whether it be an event that we're having up at the community college, whether it's something that's going on as a car show out in Dalton. I try to make it to everything, and I like being involved. I like my family being involved. My wife works a really tough job. She doesn't like always being on the go. She likes staying at home, but if you see me out, you probably see me and the twins running out doing things. But I think that as a representative of the people, you need to be at the events that you're trying to push for for the community to have.
I agree. Every representative of the town, I think, needs to be at events so that they can talk to their citizens, so that they can listen to their citizens. I think that we have a lot of beautiful events in our area. We have, the wonderful Clifton Forge Main Street folks who put on parades and lots of great events. The fireworks are always great every year. I will admit that I have not been to a whole lot of events during the pandemic with the little kids. And I do have a spouse who's a homebody as well, so he's not super excited about going to every single thing that happens in town, but if I was representing the town, I would definitely try to make it to a lot more events. And as COVID kind of ramps down, I hope a lot more people find their way out to our wonderful events in town that have been put on by Clifton Forge Main Street and by all of the other groups that put forward so much effort.
I do think it's really important for us to attend these events. I missed a couple of very important events this past weekend because of COVID. But it is important for us to show support for our community, for all of the different events that we have going on. I did check out everything on Facebook. It looks like the bicentennial event was a huge success at the college. And I really hated that I couldn't make it to that. But I do try to attend to as many events as I possibly can. And unfortunately, it doesn't always work that well. Sometimes our jobs get in the way, or sometimes family issues get in the way. However, I do think it is extremely important for us to attend these events.
I believe it's extremely important too because of representation. As a council member, you represent this community. And getting with other community leaders and other community council people, I think there's a connection you can make with them that may possibly change something in the future. You may need them for something, they may need you. But basically, it's important to represent Clifton, and yes, very important.
I think it's probably the second most important thing you do on town council is being available to the community. Out and about, whether it's here at the theater or 42, or walking the streets, going out to the park, going out to the beach, and be approachable. Let people approach you. It's very, very important. The most important thing we do is go to meetings and listen to you people talk to us about things that you want done and that are available. But anytime you see me, I think anybody on this board that's out and about, you want to talk to them, talk to them. Thank you.
I don't think it's that important that I'm at the events. I mean, my main job is to make sure that you are free and happy and you can put food on your table. I mean, other than that, I mean, the events are good. I'm here if you need me, but I don't think if I'm not at an event, that doesn't mean like I'm not there for you or a resource for you down the road. So, I mean, like I said, my role is just to make sure you're just free and happy and in Clifton Forge. That's pretty much it.
Okay, the next question, the last two, we have another one. I guess we're getting a little specific now. So, as some of you know, the Virginia Municipal League offers training to elected officials. For those that have served or are serving on town council, have you ever had the training offered, attended it, and if elected, will you agree to take the training? Ms. Howell, yep.
I am not an incumbent. I have not served on the Clifton Forge Town Council yet. But if I was offered training of any sort that would help out with my ability to represent the town of Clifton Forge, I would definitely attend.
I'm excited to say that I've only been on town council since January, and I am attending my first Virginia Municipal League conference here in just a couple of weeks.
I'm still in the running, so anyway, absolutely, yes. Any kind of education to help represent the people that we're trying to represent would definitely be beneficial.
I think I'm going to one this year. It'll be the 7th one I've attended in 8 years. I've attended all the trainings that they have. What I thoroughly enjoy is listening to other communities that probably think they're worse off than we are, and they are, because we do very, very well according to what other communities our size. I absolutely love going. It's a wonderful thing to do, and we can brag about Clifton Forge.
Well, I'm a born leader, but since the training is free, yes, I would take anything that's free.
One of the most valuable things that I've experienced for helping me understand town council, since I've been on town council, is our town manager, Chuck, got a VML representative to come to one of our town council meetings. And I don't know if that was, it may be on the journal, I'm not sure. But she helped explain things to really help you understand how the role of town council in the town. She gave us literature, a couple books. One's, conflict of interest. One is explaining all municipality type governments. And I'm the type of person that I like to read. So I don't usually read for pleasure, but I like to read information. And I took that in like a sponge, and it really helped me understand, my role and how town council works. So the VML stuff is definitely rewarding, and they've got very good people that are knowledgeable, that if you have a question, you can go to our town manager. He's an email or a phone call away from her and ask questions. If we're wondering, hey, is this really the role of town council? Whatever your questions are. But VML is a very good resource.